welcome to Seriously Read a Book. My name is John. Today we are reading The Nightlife of Jacuzzi Gaskett by Brontez Purnell, illustrated by Elise R. Peterson. His name was John Gaskett Clements. He went by Gaskett at school, though. There were 13 other Johns in his class. He went by his middle name so people would be sure to remember him. But all those other Johns. His nickname was Jucuzzi, because that's where he was conceived. Look at that jacuzzi. It's interesting. I wonder why there are plants there. No. I wonder if that's just what his house looks like. Jucuzzi had just turned 11. Whoa! What's he got in his hand there? Can you see that? His house was a good 5-minute walk from the spot where the school bus dropped him off every day. In another 30 minutes, his mother would be home to drop off his baby brother Jamal from the babysitters. Look at all these pictures. I wonder if these flowers are things that he sees on the way home. His brother was 11 months old. Look at that business. His brother was his new favorite person. You ever feel like that with a little baby? Jucuzzi always took this alone time to collect himself. He'd look at the little fish that sat in a water-filled bowl on the desk by his bed, and often he'd say, "A fine kettle of fish." He didn't know why he said, "a fine kettle of fish," other than the fact that his grandfather had come in his room once, a long time ago, peered into his fish bowl and said, "Ah, a fine kettle of fish." The fish from this memory were already dead. Jucuzzi went into the kitchen and stared at the stove. Better not play with fire again, he reminded himself. You ever have to remind yourself of such things? He went to his room and he looked at the cardboard box filled with multicolored Legos. He was tired of building the same things, trains, airplanes, and spaceships. Instead, he took the box and heaved the entire contents into the air. The Legos hit the ceiling and hurled right back to Earth. I wonder if that's a picture of, I think that's the picture of the Legos going airborne. What do you think? Oh, there they are. They're either going up or coming down there. Jucuzzi considered the dense collection of multicolored plastic at his feet and decided it was a strange art installation meant to be displayed on the floor. Then he heard brisk footsteps on the cement stairs attached to his second-story apartment. "Mama and Jamal are home," he said, but just in his head. Mama worked with soldiers at the army base, and she carried the same percussion in her step, her knock, and her general way. "Hey, baby," Mama said, smiling. She walked straight to the bedroom where both Jucuzzi and Jamal slept. He had a bunk bed he'd had for years, despite the fact that until recently he was an only child. Next to the bunk bed was a crib for Jamal. Oh, look at that. There's a little crib. There's his bunk bed. There's a desk with the fishes. "Mama has to hurry, baby," she said, zipping by to put Jamal down in his crib and change out of her work clothes. She always had the same routine. She tidied up the apartment here and there, gave Jamal a bath, and prepared bottles for him. Then she heated up food for Jucuzzi, kissed him on the forehead, and asked about his day. "Mama's leaving in a bit. I'm gonna feed Jamal. Then you have to look after him," she said. "You're Mama's big boy." And there she is. There's Jamal. Mama was going to her boyfriend's house. Jucuzzi hated him. That summer, the boyfriend had insisted that Mama sign him up for basketball, but Jucuzzi hated basketball and football and baseball and maybe most of all soccer. "It's just a bunch of people running and yelling," he explained one time to the boyfriend, who gave Jucuzzi a very disappointed look. Well, that looks like Jucuzzi, I think. Think that's the boyfriend? Oh, there's Mama getting ready. Jucuzzi watched his mom move through her pre-going out ritual. She, for a good 2 months now, would shower or just spray on deodorant, put on makeup, do her hair, and kiss Jucuzzi goodbye. She was always home by 2 a.m. At night, Jucuzzi sometimes missed his dad. Oh, look, I bet that's a picture of his dad. Yeah. In the few memories he had of him, he could picture a man with faraway eyes, always sitting on the couch. Once, when Jucuzzi was about 5, his mother came home early to find him all alone in the house. His father was supposed to be watching him. After that, his dad had to leave. These days, the man existed in a series of collect calls made from jail. I did bad things, son. You go to school and don't be like your daddy, he would say. Okay. I love you, Daddy, said Jucuzzi at the end of their heart-to-hearts. Oh, now he heard his baby brother crying. He retrieved wailing Jamal from his crib and sat on the couch to rock him in his arms back and forth like his mom had taught him. Like magic. The infant was quiet the instant the rocking started. Look at that. He looks like he kind of doesn't know what he's doing, but can you tell that he loves this boy? Isn't that amazing? Brothers. Jucuzzi looked at little Jamal. He smelled him. He liked the way babies smelled. You're my only friend, he whispered to the baby's little head. It's got some sadness in it, doesn't it? Jucuzzi let his mind wander to the rest of his life. Look at these little flowers. I wonder what this thing is. I'm kind of confused by that. That head has sort of appeared here and there in this book. You get some stars, goldfish. The truth was, he hated school and all the people in it. They all made fun of him. No one seemed to see how smart or special he was. Well, who do you think these fellows are? Maybe people who make fun of him? What do you think? Earlier that day, the students in his class had to present a paper on what their future career would be. Emily Duggin-Smith wrote a paper about how she wanted to be a doctor and got an A+. Mike Tollins presented a paper about how he wanted to be a garbage man like his dad and got a C. Jucuzzi explained to the teacher that he didn't want to do work when he grew up and you can't write a paper about choosing no job, so he believed he should be excused from the project. She gave him an F. I hate that place, he thought as he walked, so carefully and so slowly, carrying his sleeping brother back to his crib. Oh, look at this. He's carrying the brother, thinking about the smiling teacher who gave him the F while he's going to the crib. Aren't the pictures in this thing weird and wonderful? The month before, Jucuzzi didn't go on the school field trip to the jelly bean factory because his mom couldn't afford it, so he had to stay in the library all day. He tended to stay in the library anyway, whenever he could. He liked the books. There's the library. Oh, I think that's a librarian, maybe? Stars. Isn't this interesting? The stars are kind of everywhere. He sort of carries the stars with him, doesn't he? Whoa! What the heck? In one book, he read about how there were crystal skulls in Mexico, and in another he read about how the ghost of some woman haunted a beach in Hawaii. He wanted to get to those places. In another book, he learned that the next neighboring galaxy was called Andromeda. He really wanted to get there. Skulls, ghosts, and stars were interesting, but mythology was the most interesting. Look at these. This is Egyptian mythology. Jucuzzi had taken out a library book about a god in Africa that controlled the wind and rain, and this sparked an idea in his head. There's that African god. He filled the blender with water and carried it to the living room as carefully as he carried Jamal. He placed the lid on top and pressed the puree button. A contained little cyclone whirred go, go, go inside the glass. He added green food coloring to the water for effect. I can make tornadoes, he said. I'm a god, Jucuzzi said to no one in particular as he put away the blender, which was heavy. Next order of business was that there was no next order of business. So Jucuzzi decided to go to bed. I think that's jammies, maybe? Oh, jammies. Brushing teeth. The boy washed his face, brushed his teeth, put on pajamas, and laid on his bed in near total darkness, his brother breathing sweetly in the crib some feet away. Above him, a galaxy of many stars glowed when you turned off the light. On nights like tonight, Jucuzzi would count the stars until he dozed off. Then he'd wake up and do it again. He would continue this pattern until his mom came home. Sometimes he would get to 6 full countings, other times to 7. This particular night, he couldn't stop thinking about the Andromeda Galaxy. He wondered if the boys in the Andromeda Galaxy had dads or teachers who didn't pick on them, or baby brothers they had to take care of. He felt a little sad at the idea of all those people so far away having fun without him. I really, truly have to get there, Jucuzzi vowed as he began his 7th round of counting. Just then, he heard keys opening the front door. Mama was home. Oh, and there he is in his bedroom, stars on the ceiling, rocket ship astronaut helmet wearing Jucuzzi. The end. And there's Mama. What a great book. Well, that was The Nightlife of Jacuzzi Gaskett by Brontez Purnell and Elise R. Peterson. If you guys like this, please like, subscribe, click the bell, and if you loved it, share it with someone you love. My name's John. This is Seriously Read a Book. Till next time.